Yo, what it do, y'all? It's your host. I'm your host, Will. This is Fandom Frequency, is what I was trying to say. We get into the entire multiverse of pop culture, if you will, whether that's movies, wrestling, TV, anime. We got a lot of different topics coming at y'all this week. We got some music, we got some wrestling we're going to be getting into. But today, I finally caught up and I'm going to be catching up with y'all on House of the Dragon season 2. I did the first 3 episodes of the season on the channel. You can go ahead and click the card and all that and check it out when you get done with this if you're curious about my thoughts on those first few episodes onto themselves. But now we're catching up on episodes 4 through 8, and I'm going to give you guys my spoiler filled thoughts and all that stuff. We're not going to be breaking down every little thing in every single episode, to be completely honest with you, but giving you guys my overall thoughts and how I thought they wrapped up some of the big storylines and everything, the things of that nature, and where things might go for season 3. Overall, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I enjoyed this season, but to me, this was a bit of a letdown. This was disappointing to me, and that was really for a few reasons here. I'm gonna kind of get the negative out of the way, and then get into the things I really dug about the season and how they paid certain things off and where we could go. But let me get into some of my problems first, so we can end on a high note. So overall, the pacing for me was off on this season, big time. Now, after episode 3, where you had or episode 4, my bad, where you had Rhaenys go into battle, they had the big battle with the dragons. Aemond gets fucked up, or Aegon, my bad. Aegon gets completely fucked up and we almost think dies. Aemond becomes the king in the aftermath of that and has a badass showing and moment, and is part of the reason why Aegon got gravely injured the way he did and took out Rhaenys at the same time, and everything like that. Fantastic episode. Overall, I loved how the first half was the build up, getting the characters in the places they need to be, building on some good dialogue and having some great acting between all the actors, and really taking time to build up the payoff of that episode. In episode 5, I expected to be a little bit, slower, kind of slow things down, show the aftermath of the situation and what went down. But after that, to me, in the whole back half of the season, the pacing was off. And I feel like the pacing was a bit off in the first 3 episodes, but not nearly as much as 5 and 6, especially. Man, not that the show was boring or they weren't taking time to build on character, build out the world, build up these conflicts and different aspects of the characters and give them some development in order to lead up into this big civil war that we're leading into for season 3. I understand that, but they definitely took their time way too much in this season for that. They didn't have much payoff even in this season to most of those conflicts past those big battles and everything. Once Aemon became king over Alicent becoming queen and kind of riding the ship here, other than a little skirmish of the people getting pissed at the kingdom and whatnot in King's Landing, there wasn't much stuff going on, like with Damon's character, for instance, just going through this whole Luigi's Mansion thing of seeing visions and seeing ghosts, seeing his mom, and da 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 over and over and over and over in the same episode and the next episode and the next episode. To me, got extremely boring. Like for that character in that regard, his storyline in this season was completely underwhelming. I liked a few moments where he was kind of making these power plays to become king of king, you know what I mean, and get the title that he's always sought after, and what drives him the most in some of the confrontations that happened, with some of the other houses and whatnot, with House Tully and whatever. But the constant thing of him seeing visions and talking to the chick from Glow over and over and over and over just got so repetitive and so boring. It reminds me of like It Chapter 2, how they had the same fucking sequence of events going on through the entire second act of that film. Somebody sees Pennywise, remembers a childhood memory where they saw Pennywise, and then you go to the next character where they do the same thing and see something that reminds them of their childhood, and they see Pennywise and what scarred them and the thing we didn't see in the first movie. That's the whole thing. It's just repetitious as hell, man. Wasted this character in this season. I don't care what anybody says. They wasted the character of Damon. Wasted it. Totally lame. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with this season with that. I know it's from the book, whatever the fuck. I don't care. This was lame. I don't care what anyone says. It was lame. I'm sorry. Whether we agree or disagree respectfully, this shit was lame to me. But, and different things like that. Another thing too, other than the pacing, it just felt like certain characters weren't getting any development past some of the events that happened in the first half of the season. Like Rhaenyra's son, he doesn't get anything interesting to do for the entire rest of the 4-episode run, and it's really, really disappointing, man. Like the character of Aemon, for example, had a lot of really cool and interesting moments throughout the entire season for me, whether they were dialogue driven scenes with him and Aegon in the first half, or him and his council in the way that he's making these terrible decisions in order to that's really pissing the people off of King's Landing and leading to a big conflict and an insurrection even within their own people. Reminds me of something in modern politics in real life, but that's for another topic of discussion. But that was some of the more stronger things in this season where I was like, okay, they're taking the time and they're building this out, and this is working really well for me. You know what I mean? But overall, that just wasn't enough really to keep me quite as invested throughout the rest of the episodes. You know what I mean? And like especially episode 6 to me was terribly paced, man. Episode 5 especially as well, terribly paced, man. I'm like, can we get to like episode 6 especially? Can we get to or 5 and 6 especially? Sorry. Can we get to the fucking point, man? Can we get to the point of what's going on here? And I get they're having these certain things going on to where these are slowly turning Allison's worldview into wanting to get away um from the whole entire crown as a whole, to the point where she's cutting a deal with Rhaenyra and in the finale, and wanting to betray her own side, her own people in a sense, in order to go off and wash her hands clean of the situation. All that stuff's interesting and all. But like I said, when you play it out so slow sometimes and you don't really have these bigger moments, whether they're action scenes, whether they're big confrontations, like in season 1 when Alicent tries to stab Rhaenyra, that wasn't a huge action or battle, but that was a great confrontation in a close quarters situation with these characters dealing with each other on a very raw and very visceral level. And to me, a lot of that was missing in this season. There was none of that visceral energy 90% of the time. Like it just really, really became very repetitive to me. But the show started to pick up for me in the last 2 episodes, especially episode 7, the Red Sower or whatever the fuck it was called. But that episode, especially to me, with Rhaenyra going out on her own and making a decision to find more dragon riders to aid in her side of the battle in this big civil war that's going on, to me was so interesting. And that one common low people, as they say, or whatever, the common guy that was talking to his wife about, hey, if I can get us a dragon, I can get us out of here, because she's been giving him grief throughout the first half of the season about getting them and her family out of King's Landing so they can actually get food and get the things that they need to survive. He's looking at a way that he can punch a ticket into doing that, but it's a very dangerous road that he's trying to go down in order to see if he has the innate thing within himself that is not taught, but only born onto that person, in order to be able to control this dragon that Rhaenyra and other dragons that she has at her disposal, in order to give these people to be dragon riders and aid her in battle. That whole entire sequence of the dragon, of everyone being tense and gathering in that situation, and her and Rhaenyra giving her speech and riling them up and saying, hey, whatever happens, happens, but no, you're risking your own life and shit, pretty much telling, like verbally making them sign a waiver, like this is on y'all. But if you can pull it off, you're gonna ride with me in the battle. Here's the dragon. Good luck. And this fool starts burning up people, killing off fools left and right, like I expected, and goes ape shit. And that dude barely survives and makes it out and ends up becoming the Dragon Rider like he sought out to do. So that was the character stuff I missed in this season. A real storyline to get you invested and get you really interested, not just political squabblings that just becomes repetitive, not tripping out in Luigi's mansion for the whole damn season, but actually giving you something to really get invested in and see a character grow and actually do something throughout a season to where it becomes a compelling situation. It's not a big, crazy action sequence, but it's something engaging and exciting in order to keep you invested and get you caught up in the wonder of this world and what's going on. But this all feeds into the storyline and progresses things forward in a really cool and a really fun and a really interesting way. A lot of the stuff going on with Rhaenyra throughout the season I thought was really cool. Her really earning the respect of her people and her side of things, and her really establishing herself as their as their ruler and as their queen or whatever, and her really leaning into it and wearing the crown by the end of the season and really leaning into the role fully and full-heartedly, and now really going into this battle after trying to make peace in episode 3 with Alicent, who didn't want to listen. Now she's all in on this and just saying, fuck them, I'm outie, telling something they don't know about me. And I love that whole attitude of Rhaenyra throughout this season. And the whole confrontation she has with Alicent in the finale, I thought was phenomenal, in the way that she had that confrontation with her, and told her, like, hey, like, it's too late. You want to wash your hands of the situation? You want to feed me this information and be the mole? That's cool with me, but I'm taking your son's head. A son for a son, motherfucker. Pay is due and the rent is due, and I want my money. She was like the goddamn dude in Spider-Man 1 and 2, man. Rent? She was like that guy, bro. She's a landlord right here. Give me my money. So that was the thing I was really digging, and all the stuff going on with her and Alicent. That was some of the more powerful stuff going on throughout the back half of the season for sure. Sir Christian Cole didn't really do anything of note in the last 3 to 4 episodes as well. That's another one of my problems. One of the characters that was the most interesting starting the season off just became completely lost in the shuffle, in my personal opinion. And maybe they're sidelining him for something in season three. I understand. But it feels like you're doing that as opposed to the story naturally progressing and going where it needs to go. It seems like you're just sidelining people in order to give other people more time. But the other people you're giving more time to sometimes aren't that interesting, you know? So that was the thing for me this season. This season just felt very uneven. I'm really interested to see where the battle's going to go. What's going to happen now that Allison has really sold out her people and sold out her house? What's going to happen, you know, with her dad Otto losing his title as King's Guard or as King's Hand, and that getting given over to Sir Christian Cole, and the way that that's all blown up all within this one season. I'm really curious to see where things are going to go. Is Aegon going to die? Is Aemon something going to happen to him? What's the hell's going to happen with Allison? Is she going to be able to escape with her daughter Helena like she planned on doing? Is everything going to blow up in her face? Is this all a ploy in order to get Rhaenyra's trust, in order to cripple them from the inside? All that is really interesting and compelling, but I wish we got more of that in this finale and in this season. We got more payoff for some of this stuff. But in the other side of things, depending on how you want to look at it, we could get a really great season three that's almost like nonstop, just crazy stuff going on. Whether it's battles, whether it's interpersonal conflicts, or these really intense situations and things that can really get us, or at least get me invested into the journey, like I was in season one, even through some of the slower moments. I hope they're able to capture that vibe again. And this is just my personal opinion. So if you love this season and thought it was even better than the last one, I'm not trying to take away anything from you. But for me personally, this was a little bit of a disappointment. While it's still a good, consistent season of television, it wasn't great. And to me, it was a bit of a step down. But I'm really curious for the future and optimistic that I'm going to be even more hyped for the next season. But let me know what you thought about it down below. We got some really cool, fun videos coming out this week. We got some niche movies. We got one of my favorite albums of all time we're going to be discussing this week. And be looking out for my SummerSlam kind of review and reaction to everything that went down the WWE, whatever they say, but I just say pay-per-view. I'm an old school fan, so pay-per-view event or whatever that they did over Saturday. A lot of really good matches and stuff went down there. So we'll talk about all that stuff. Probably going to record that tomorrow. And we got a lot of fun topics we're going to be getting into this week. Alien Romulus is right around the corner. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that spoiler review coming up soon. And I just did some really fun topics in the world of the Fox X-Men movies, Deadpool, Wolverine, all that stuff's on the channel. So make sure you check that out. And I just did an episode with my girl Steph from the Final Girls talking about Queen of the Damned about a week ago. So if you dig new metal, if you dig vampire movies or horror at all, check out that Queen of the Damned review. We had a lot of fun recording that one. Appreciate each and every one of you guys coming in and subscribing and interacting with the channel. It really does help. I have so much fun doing this project and just getting into the topics and discussions with you guys. That's some of the funnest stuff, even more so than putting it together sometimes. So let me know what you thought about this episode. Thanks for sticking around to the end. And thanks for just taking time out of your day to check out the channel. I appreciate you. We're going to catch you again throughout the week, and we're going to catch you soon on the next one. And until then, stay safe out there and much love. Peace.